just as women? Because I feel like as a man, we just got to get it regardless.
Right. I wouldn't necessarily say that's like a fear, but it is a concern.
Okay.
Because if you decide to have a mate who is not, maybe on your level financially,
Mm-hmm.
and you want more in life, you want to live a certain lifestyle, and he can't contribute to that, that's definitely an issue. And especially like, I mean, I've come across some men who are even like, well, it's a 50-50 thing, that kind of thing. And it's like, well, when it comes to that, especially when it comes to money, I mean, the basics I think a man should be able to provide. Like, you can't put a roof or, be able to at least have a roof over my head and some food over the table, at least at that minimum, for the lifestyle we both want to be able to have.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was looking
when it
for
comes
that
to
video.
50-50, my money is, of course, my money, and I want to be able to contribute as need be if we need to, especially if we're married. Sure, all the finances are going into one. But if we're just dating and, that's kind of what you want, it's one of those things where I need to make sure that you can be able to provide. So as inflation is growing, as the economy is changing, as social media is putting all of these, aspects into it, like, we want to make sure that, especially as a woman, that we're putting our needs out there when it comes to our finances, when it comes to inflation, because in 20-10 years, it's going to be, increased,
Mm-hmm.
like at least what, 2.45%?
22.
So,
22%.
22%.
I don't know. At this rate, I don't know
Minimum.
what the hell is going
Minimum,
to be.
right? So whatever you're making now, if you got a GED and you're making like, 50,000 now,
You think so?
I'm just saying.
People would.
I'm just saying. Okay, let's say
possible.
I was just trying to give the benefit of the doubt.
Bro, the average income salary is like 44,000.
Let's say, all right, let's give or take, because 40,000, right? So you're at least at 40,000. I mean, there's only so much you can make. Like here in New Jersey, each state, I actually saw a map where each state it's pretty much averaging what's the cost of living. So here in New Jersey, to live comfortably, guess what that number is?
What, like an hour or what?
About
What
about
is it?
100. You said it right, exactly.
Yeah.
We need 100,000. So at least if I'm making 50 and you're making 50, okay, now we can live comfortable.
You know what comfortable is?
Throw a kid in there and it's
A comfortable.
That's not even with a kid.
yeah, that's what
Yeah, listen,
Exactly.
Throw a kid in
like
there,
comfortable
that's
is definitely not 100,000.
Uh-huh.
Like that ended 7 years ago, bro.
Mm.
I think that I had a single mom who majority of my life who was able to acquire so much success. Her success was my competition. Like that was the bar.
Good.
So like when I was 18 and I was able to go to college, I was like, yeah, I'm going out of state because I want to prove to myself too that I could survive. But you still, when you're dormant, everything is really taken care of. You just gotta not fuck it up. That's the only thing you gotta not do.
Right.
Mm.
So, but at that age, you don't know that, so
On your own though.
yeah, so I wanted to be on my own. And then obviously, I realized I couldn't live with my mom either because I wanted to just do what I wanted to do.
Right.
So that was always my ambition.
All right. If we consider like, all right, inflation's going to be growing, let's say, 2.5% to 3%, right? Those couples that band together that really know how to structure their money, plan, save when it comes to for their vacations, buying more property, having more income, having more assets and things like that coming in, those are the couples that are going to survive. Those are the same couples because most of when it comes to like retirement and especially here in the US, like our generation, we're not really saving for retirement. We're really going to be working till we die, literally. Most people don't know that the average American needs at least $3 million at least saved. $3 million. Do you have $3 million saved? You do? Probably.
No, I don't.
Right?
I
If you
wish.
think about it, if you think about it, right, and you kind of like average that, then the way you calculate it, you just figure out how much am I going to need per year to survive, right? And then comfortably, right, with your bills paid, with maybe a house paid, maybe not, right? If you have kids, you want to, maybe they're out of the house, maybe they're contributing, right? So you want to know, especially as an American, like, where do I stand? How do I plan my life better? Because if we're a couple, we're dating, we want to have date night, we want to travel, we want to do that, but it's got to be in the budget. It's got to be a budget. And some people live and you have the extravagant lifestyles, displayed on social media. They're going all these places, but really, like, what do they really know about their money, right? So that's exactly how I see it.
What about those people who, this is their argument, right?
Yeah.
So the argument is those people who work so hard and they save so much, experience so little, and then, they get told that they have cancer. Or I know somebody who one of my friends, their job did a big cut in workers, and this one woman gave 30 years of her life, and they said, "You're done." And like, like I feel like what happens is those people, those couples that don't want to save or not saving properly. I'm not condoning this, by the way, but I think that they rather live life while they can and worry about how to survive at the tail end of their life than trying to live life at the tail end, trying to prepare for their survival at the same time 20, 30, 50 years down the line. To be honest, I would hire an older person before I hire a younger person, especially in today's age. The younger person typically is not as obedient. They're not as respectful, right, and they don't care as much to do. So if I tend to hire people older than me all the time. Actually, now that I think about it.
It depends on the work, though. It depends on what kind of work they're doing, and just be realistic. The younger person,
if you need a young, strong
9 times
boy,
out of 10, the younger person gonna get the job. The point he's trying to
these
make,
young boys ain't strong. What are we talking about?
The point he's trying to make is you're earning years. You need to work hard, because once you get to a certain age, you're not going to be able to do what you were able to do when you were younger. So
like, when is your earning years over?
When you learn
your body gonna tell you that.
Yeah.
No, it's a number. It's a number. It's a number. It's a number. You can't just stop working.
Well, no, I feel that for me, I've learned to work smarter and not harder, and my body tells me when to do that. Like, I'm not doing this anymore,
Right.
So I'll find an alternative way to do this.
Correct.
So I just do it smarter, and that's for me. I ain't trying to work hard.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is it 35?
Is
it up to 45?
Your earning years are definitely in your
It depends on what you
20s.
do.
50?
I agree with
to
that.
at least maybe the max 50, but definitely between those years.
20 to 50.
I would say from 20 to like 50.
So 30
Reason
years of
be,
working. 30
About,
years of working.
yeah, 30 years of working. If you saving up and you're investing your money with 30 years of working, you could pretty much be set. Like, if you just stayed the course and like really hustle.
I agree.
Right? But if you play around and you're like, oh, no, it's all right. I'll wait. Right? You don't want to save. You don't want to invest. You don't want to buy stocks. You don't want to, understand difference. Maybe there's AI stuff coming out. Like, how can I make money? If you're not really about that hustle and grind, you're going to be lost. Right?
I think that most people, there is no, I think your earning years is forever in America, because I don't think majority of people can afford to retire even when they do plan right. Planning perfect and planning right is not the same. There's some people who do get money and they might have like $3,000 a month that they can possibly budget or so, right? Well, I'm not saying budget, but acquire for when they retire.
Right.
But $3,000 a month nowadays, you still can't survive.
But that's only if you have a parent who didn't plan for you. Now, if you had a parent who planned for you the day that you were born, for those people who have kids, by the time they're 60s and their 50s, they could already have an account with over $1 million. Literally, all you got to do is put like $200 a month aside. And that's something I tell people all the time. Like, listen, if you got, just that with 200, I can show you on the chart, honey. You start from the time that child literally is like 1, all the way to like for 60 years of that investment, like literally that child will have over $1 million plus. Like, it's crazy. And this is what, the other, societies or other, races do for their kids. But we don't talk about that, when it comes to our people.
But that was actually shocking to me, because you would think that it's more. Because that's almost 1 out of every 2 people who are wealthy have been able to acquire it from the ground up, right? Rather than have it be passed down. I was shocked on the opposite end. I would think it was 80-20 that was inherited. Yeah, that's almost 50% of new wealthy people, new wealthy generations, every so often, whatever the time frame is. That means 1 out of 2 people that are wealthy were able to acquire it rather it get handed to them, which is crazy to me, because for me, I always thought more often than not, wealth is given from their ancestors, their mom, their dad. Yeah, it's given to them and not earned. But that just goes to show that there's probably more new wealthy people than there is ancestral wealth.